the meeting to order. And first order of business is approve the minutes from the last meeting on May 2nd.
I'll move that we approve minutes.
You have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's approved. All right. I really had mentioned a way of remarks, but I wanted to introduce Alan Fine. Alan has graciously volunteered to be on the board if we appoint him. And since we have a vacancy, we can do that, but we'll need a motion to do it. But I thought first I would ask Alan just to tell us a little bit about himself, and then let's introduce ourselves so he knows who we are.
My name is Alan Fine. I'm the Regional Technology Director for a company called Securitas, covering about 10 states with guards, van guards, and technology. My wife, Elisa, is head of school at Tidewater Montessori, and that's actually how we found ourselves here. I spent almost all of my life in northern Baltimore County. She got a job for a variety of reasons in Huntingtown. We had vacation down here and we loved it, and off we came to Drum Point. We have 4 children and 5 grandchildren. We're just very happy Drum Point residents, and I look forward to helping where I can.
Good. I'm glad you're willing to get involved. It's not a lot of work, but, you know, we need to just, there are things that come up, you know, we need a consensus of a board to keep things moving along.
Well, interestingly enough, I was on, maybe I am a little crazy. I was at the board of our HOA in Cockeysville, Maryland, and I served there, and here I am, ready to do it again. So,
Good.
thanks for having me.
Not only that, not only willing to do it, but you got experience.
Yeah, I am, nothing got too crazy, but.
I know. Well, good. Okay, Bonnie?
Okay.
what-
I'm Bonnie Glaze, and I've been down here since 2006, and I still split my time between here and Bethesda. I retired from the Miter Corporation in McLean, Virginia about in 2011 anyhow, and I've been able to spend about half time down here and half time up there, sort of in transition in some sort of weird way. I have no idea what the timeline is. But I've been on the board for 4 or 5 years, I think. Sure. And currently I'm serving as the secretary, but it's a very easy job because actually really does all the work.
No, you're also, you kind of spearhead the environmental committee.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
well, Jimmy as well, Jimmy started,
Yeah.
and you were really great at getting the Fred Mighty's taken.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, and well, it's still.
He's our weed murderer.
We gotta keep an eye on it
Yeah.
because it's, you know, you never really
Not
get rid of
really
it.
after.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with Phragmites, but you won't.
I became familiar, actually. I saw a gentleman spraying down at the public beach, and I had some curiosity, and whoever was.
Recently?
I want to say 4 or 5 months ago, maybe. Maybe it was 3, maybe it was 6. But I actually was interested in the grasses and things like that, and why. And I was just more inquisitive. I wasn't. Hopefully, I didn't overstep. I was curious.
Maybe should have been spraying 5 months ago.
Um,
Well,
Last September, maybe.
Since you mentioned Phragmites, and Susan and I and some other neighbors and friends went up to Patuxent River Park a couple weekends ago, and which is up on the upper Patuxent, Jug Bay area.
Oh, yeah.
The reason we knew about it, Susan knew and had arranged it, was this Greg Kearns, who spoke at the Osprey Festival on that Thursday night and was such an expert on ospreys. So she arranged for us to go down there and actually get a tour with him on the boat and see the chicks and all that stuff. Anyway, turns out one of their big problems has been Phragmites. It's taken over the whole marsh area.
Oh, yeah.
And so they've been involved a lot in eradicating it, but most of what they do is by helicopter. And they've got the state involved. Because I mentioned Mark Smith to him, and he didn't know anything about that, because, you know, he doesn't know land, but. So they've been eradicating the Phragmites, and what they're trying to do is get the native stuff back, and particularly the wild rice. They've got a tremendous
Oh my God.
area of wild rice there
Oh, really?
Oh,
that
gosh.
used to attract,
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
you know, lots of birds and
Yeah.
stuff, and so they're trying to get that back, and they're doing fairly successful. They've got acres of it coming back, and
It's neat because I really couldn't, I don't know the difference between a Phragmite and wild rice and things of that nature. And I think it's what aroused my curiosity, because I thought it was potentially, you know, again, hopefully I don't think I was that, but I was like wondering, why are you spraying what I thought
It's a very
something was
beautiful-
a
yeah.
very beautiful plant that
yeah.
it was marsh and
That's a-
it was helping the environment and
That's,
totally
that's
find
the trick,
out.
that's the trick of Phragmites, it looks pretty, so,
Yeah, so,
But it is tough.
yeah. Yeah, in fact, no.
I'm Maria, we've met.
Yeah.
I'm the manager. I've been working for Drum Point, I think, since 2004. I don't know, that's it. My husband and I moved here a long time ago. So, anyway, I have 2 daughters. My husband passed away 10 years ago, and here I am. I'll always be here.
We hope.
She's real,
Yeah.
she's the backbone behind this whole
She
thing.
did, yes.
Thank you, guys.
Jack?
I'm Jack Andre, I'm the treasurer. I've been on the board for about as long as Bonnie, I think. I can't
I
remember.
think maybe a year or so before me, yeah. Because you and Tony both me into it.
No.
That convinced me to do the right
And
thing.
I retired from the State Department and yeah, just spend my time down here now.
Susan?
I'm Susan Rourke, and I joined the board last fall, and I've lived in Drum Point unbelievably since 2002. So, and where are you located?
525 Beach Drive.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Okay,
Good.
All right, no,
So you're
you are,
very
and
close.
I'm over on Lakeview on this
Okay.
side. Yeah, we're all kind of spread out.
And I'm Jenny Rice. I've been on the board for a couple of years now.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived here for 5 years, I can't believe it, it's flown by. Love the area. I'm from Alexandria, and we still have a home in Alexandria that I have to go back to occasionally, but I'm not trying to be here, so. And I'm on the environmental committee.
and also you mentioned the Facebook page.
I started a Facebook page, it's not affiliated with the association, but if you're on Facebook, it's a great way for people to connect. And today we had our 500th
I saw
member.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's an integral part of the community, even if
Yeah, it's a community, a different, you know,
Yeah,
the Drum Point writ large,
Mhm.
you know, so it's not just the DPO.
So it's Drum Point
Drum Point
Facebook.
neighborhood. Jump in neighborhood
Yeah.
if you're on Facebook. And you'll have to answer a few questions because we want to make it just accessible to Drum Point residents, but,
I have to look at it. I may be the only person I know that's not on Facebook.
No, I'm not.
I
I am, but I don't.
So maybe I'm an outlier, because I figured out here is I'm the only Baltimore boy. So, so
Okay,
well, maybe your wife is on it, she might want to join.
I know she is on Facebook through her school, but I like to join. I mean, I think now is more
It's
is
just
better.
useful information that involves the community and
Jenny-
writing topics.
Jenny also started an effort here to help get rid of all of this English ivy that's choking our
Mhm.
trees out.
Mhm.
So Jenny's been spearheading that. She
So
calls
you're the
it
head of the Ivy League?
the Ivy
Yes,
League.
it
That
Yeah.
is a terrific name.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, I stole it. I should have said that, but I did.
That's real good. Well, thanks. I look forward to working with everyone.
So I'm Mike Snap, and I'm the president for just a little bit more time,
Mhm.
right?
Who's counting?
Huh?
Who's counting?
Yeah.
I've been on the board, I think, they've been on 5, maybe 6, I don't know, something like that. But I've been president for 3 years. We moved down here in '99, retired from government intelligence stuff up in the district or the Beltway. Before that, I was retired from the Air Force.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, with that in mind, then we need a motion to, accept Alan, or appoint Alan to be, fill a vacancy left by Mike Chaconis.
So move.
Do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You can't vote. All right. So now we have an official new member. Thank you. Welcome, Alan.
Thank you.
I don't have anything more really to add. I'll have a couple words in the planning session. You want to give an update on the office affairs?
The membership numbers for the current fiscal year are slightly more than 80%, so that's good. That's where we always land. Well, around 80. For the upcoming fiscal year, we're at 66.5%, which is good for this time of year. Remind everybody about the membership meeting on the 29th, 7 o'clock, it's a Thursday. We went to court the 23rd of May to hear the final
Judgment.
pardon me?
Judgment.
Thank you. Well, we got the judgment. So we finally went, this is for, I hate to say the name.
No, you can. It's public record.
Okay.
It's on the public record.
It's
in
been
the
discussed
court.
before in executive session, so Ed Kerman. So the judge awarded us the full amount that I had asked for 2 years ago, plus any accrued fees, any fees that have accrued since. So it was more than $2,000 that we were awarded, and whether or not we'll be able to collect that is a different story. Is actually when we walked out of the court, I think it was his brother-in-law approached, because his brother-in-law was there, and he approached us and wondered, what could be done to just settle it. And actually Jack, when he went up at one of the court dates that did not happen, so Jack and I went and we spoke with Mr. Kerman that day, and Jack suggested to me after that I put together exactly what would it cost him to be able to donate the lands or the properties to land trust. Because he owns 3 lots, he has back fees he owes us, he also owes property taxes on 1 or 2 of them. So the total that he would have to pay, plus for the transfer of each lot, which it's just $100, I didn't realize that, it's a little more than $3,000. So I'm hopeful that his brother-in-law will somehow help him understand, because he really does not understand what needs to be done, and then just be finished with it. And then
Can
get
his wife write the check?
She's probably in worse shape than he is.
No.
But maybe they can convince the 2 of them. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
So there's that. And then happily, I went to, folks, I was really happy with this one. I picked up mail the other day, Friday, and there was a check from the person who had acquired, the house on the first house on the right on Pilot. I've talked about that one before. The owner had left, he's in Florida. And I checked it for some odd reason a couple weeks ago, and it had transferred. And as it turned out, it was his sister that acquired it. It was a 0 transfer amount. So I sent her a certified letter, and she sent a check for $1,612. And those are fees dating back to 2010. So when I saw that, I took it right to the bank. I didn't even have the deposit slip with me. Because, you never know. So there's that. I was real pleased about that. So then we were talking about parking earlier, and if you got my email, there had been a fire on Gray Drive. No real property damage, but a vacant lot, and the man that told me about it said he was busy hosing down his own property to make sure it didn't spread. So I sent an email to kind of combine that with the fact that people are parking on the pavement and sometimes blocking, or could be blocking emergency access, or emergency vehicle access. So I did that, but the reason I'm bringing it up at all, River Terrace, which is off of Overlook, has been an issue this past month. And Mike and I went to see what could be done, and I talked with Carl, and he's going to get me a price on clearing a little more. If any of you have been kind of familiar with how that works down there, Our right-of-way goes right to the water, so it's one of those access points for people. And people are parking all over it. I mean, I saw a woman that lives down there sent me pictures, and there's no way, well, maybe a really tiny vehicle could have gotten through there. She hardly could get out of her driveway. And then another person has sent me some pictures, and the most recent one, somebody's just pulled up with an SUV and kind of parked like that, half of it into the street. So I've been talking with the sheriff's office, there's a liaison, and he's going to come tomorrow, I hope. He was supposed to be here today, we called, put it off until tomorrow. And I'm gonna ask him, what can be done? Like, you know, I always tell people, as we've said, call the sheriff's office, you know, but I want to know, will they issue a warning? And then ultimately, a ticket for people that keep doing it. And when I first began the communication on email, I explained to him these are not private roads, they are privately maintained, and that we have a deed of public access, which he asked me to forward to him, which I did. So we'll see. But the one person that lives down there, he's in Florida 6 months out of the year, but he's home right now. And he suggested, and it's kind of a cool idea, but I don't know that it's going to go anywhere. The property just inside the gate of the club, if we could make them an offer to purchase a portion of it, like 100 feet maybe, move the gate back, turn that into parking area. I don't know what it would cost, I don't have any idea if they would accept that, and I could see people objecting to it that live down there on Overlook at the end, or, oh, you're just encouraging people to come and clog up the beach right down there.
Yeah,
So I don't know, is that something we want to check into?
not really, but if you wanna,
Do you think it's
I guess you
feasible?
could-
Do you see?
well, you have to start with the club and see if
Right,
they
absolutely,
even would entertain it.
right.
But I think, I can see the neighbors up there would object.
Yeah, I think so.
Of course, the flip side of that is people, you know, there's very little space up there, and they've had problems with where can you turn school buses around.
Right,
That might provide more space for that. You know, I guess we can look into it, but I can just see dollar signs.
oh, I can too.
Um,
Right now, we need to pay for the beach.
Right, and
Erosion.
right. I'm not sure that this is a big enough problem, to go finding solutions looking for a problem.
What was an alternate solution to this?
Well,
You know,
we went down and looked at it. I suggested that we can improve the signage down there to, you know, put, just like you see a lot of times on a road where they'll say, no parking between arrows. Well, do some of that to help prevent people from parking and blocking people's driveways and access down there. Like you said, have Carl clear out a little more of the right-of-way space so people can park off the road.
And there is at the top of River Terrace, already a sign that says no parking on the asphalt. But the problem with that, the gentleman that lives down there told me, and he's right, I think, here's River Terrace street sign, and here is the no parking on asphalt. So you come around, and you really don't see that.
Right.
So Joe, I'm gonna have Joe turn it, I guess, or place it further down, so a little bit further down. I need to do a Miss Utility before any of that happens.
Yeah.
So,
And then did you look into the other signage, like
there's 2 signs in the garage,
Okay.
you know, one of which, so we can do that.
Yeah.
Where do people go though to park there? What do they do?
Well, when COVID hit,
there's a
recall,
beach access.
there is a beach access down there, but when COVID hit and everybody was heading for the beach, and Tony, I think, was, I don't know, who was on the board.
The community,
Doesn't matter.
the community beach?
No,
No.
It's a different beach.
This is, you know where the entrance is to the Drum Point Club?
Yes.
Okay, so right before that is River Terrace on the
Okay.
right, straight down
Oh,
is
yes,
is
I
an
know,
access
yes.
point. And it says
Okay.
beach access at the top.
It's a beach on the
So-
river.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had some, like, would you say like the length of 2 cars cleared that year? In the right of way, so people could pull off. And it's overgrown, so, you know, a bit. So Carl will come in and clean that up, but then back from there toward Overlook is another area that would get us 2 cars parked in the house.
We could probably park 6 or 8 cars down there
You think
and,
that
not impede.
Yeah,
I think so. Not impede
right.
other people.
Well, and
If
hopefully,
they clear it out.
right, and a combination of deputies will agree to actually write a ticket, you know,
Doesn't it remind me of the Minvu situation?
a little bit.
Where we put up bollards, or there were
The
bollards.
bollards are there, yeah,
And,
Yeah.
so.
but people were parking in
Yeah.
blocking her.
Right, and that was that same time period, it was COVID had hit and everybody's home and also, hopefully, if we get the beach erosion taken care of and expand the beach and make it nicer, there'll be people going there, you know.
We don't have a lot of parking there either, though.
No, I know we don't, no, you're right about that, we don't. So, that's it for me.
Okay, we all know about it, but since you're new, we have a camera back there, and these meetings are recorded.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's, is it by law? I guess it's
No.
by-
I think, I don't know why we started. Yes.
Because of the
Oh,
thing with
I thought there was some
with
ruling
Matthews,
about
Dan,
homeowners.
is it Dan? Wasn't,
I think it came about because years ago, before you guys were on, Gary was probably on, but not president yet, and there was one person in particular that was a little cantankerous.
Oh, I know.
Okay, and, nice man. Good board member, he helped get our state highway user revenue, so a valuable board member. But I think we started recording because there was a lot of dissatisfaction with the board at the time, and people would come in and words would be exchanged, and we wanted to be able to prove that that person himself had not started that verbal altercation. I think that's kind of the gist of it.
Is there like a link that members can get, or you
I-
request it if
No,
if
well,
there's some
no,
question?
every year or every month after, like, you know, we've approved the minutes
Mhm.
for last month. So later in the week, I upload it to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So then what I have to do is put a link on the website to YouTube. So you can go on our website and there's a drop-down menu, pictures and videos.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stay on there. I change it every month, you know, I just update it every month, so.
It's kind of neat.
It is. It helps me record the minutes too. I mean,
Yeah.
it is, you know,
Right.
useful.
Okay, let's move on. So you talk about roads now.
We received the invoice from Great Mills finally. Chris tells us that the job is complete. The invoice is $231,153.90. So I already have the money transferred from the county to our special tax district account in the amount of, I think, 185 or 6,000, the amount budgeted, or a little more. So there's that. So we're going to go into executive session later to talk about Chris's percentage and so on. But Jeff came by today, and he had asked me to let him know when the fabric tickets and the asphalt tickets, when I have them. And those are tickets that, you know, every time you bring a load, certain amount of asphalt, certain amount of fabric, and so on. And he compared them to the original proposal that we got from Great Mills. And he said, well, number one, he doesn't agree that that center line is good, that center seam, but it is what it is. He had a lot of words about that.
Yeah.
But the one thing he said we might want to protest on is when they do the shoulder backup and the amount of stone that they put down, you can't just take the linear feet of the job and, you know, measure and then double it for each side and have that be the right amount of stone. He said there's a lot of places where you don't put stone down. Paved driveways, areas that are grassy and come right out to the edge of the asphalt, wooded, a lot of areas. So he went ahead and walked it, and he estimates 2,000 linear feet. It's $2 a linear foot. That's $4,000 overbilled by Great Mills. So we have to decide if it's a big enough deal to protest the bill. And he said he would actually, because that was an estimate, the 2,000 feet. He drove it and just sort of eyeballed it. He'll wheel it off, he has a wheel, and give us an exact number if we wanted to.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Then if it's, and then, I think if it's in that neighborhood, that it's worth,
I do too.
Yeah,
I agree, I agree.
Because they shouldn't, you're right, I mean, he's right, you shouldn't just take a linear measurement of the whole
Right,
thing and
Right.
just assume that's it.
and it's actually right on the scope of work. Although, when Chris put the scope of work together, it was a little off as far as those linear feet. But, because when they put that together, Chris and Jeff would measure the amount of linear feet for the stonework. So it's right on the scope of work. But they just didn't follow that. So
Just
there's,
for clarity. Jeff is our
Oh,
previous, he basically was like a subcontractor to us. He did, he oversaw the big projects like the paving and helped write the proposal or the request for proposals and stuff like that, and evaluate the bids and help us choose them, and then monitor the actual work. And he was a prior county guy, had, road engineering experience. Well, then he decided he didn't want to do it anymore, wanted to retire, so, the county, he found another guy in the county who was willing, or interested in doing it, and that's Chris. Well, it hasn't, it's been a different situation, so we'll talk about that later. But those are that's Jeff and Chris, so that's, when those names come out, that's who they are.
Does the bylaws or laws make it necessary to go with the lowest bidder? Or
No.
we as a board have some flexibility?
We have flexibility in past performance and.
Okay.
I think a couple of years
Price.
ago, it went to Great Mills and they were not the lowest bidder, but the reason Jeff suggested that was that the other company, the mix of asphalt that company uses, he didn't like. It was too many stones or, I don't know. He didn't like the mix of the asphalt, so he gave it to Great
And
Mills.
philosophically, the lowest bidder generally is that for a reason, so.
Often,
Sometimes,
yeah.
right.
So,
So there's,
Okay.
so then stormwater management, Mike has been working with Great Groves Landscape and Jake Allen Wood, to get some of these stormwater management jobs done, the simpler ones. And so Leeson Cove has been done, and the amount, and I've got the invoices, so
Well,
I need to know if I can pay them.
Well, I sent you a picture, and I still think that they should clear out that drain.
I texted Mike,
Okay,
okay, so I'll definitely hold off on that.
hasn't been done yet.
Okay,
It's not a lot of work, it's just moving some rocks further down the swale, so they,
which one is that? Just, is that
the
Leeson?
Leeson,
Okay.
222 Leeson.
Okay. So that's in flux, I guess, but the amount was $23,1750. Surf at Beach is finished, $2,070.30. Is that one good to go? Have you, okay.
No, I thought Sal was
Sal?
gonna look at that, he didn't,
I don't remember, frankly.
okay.
I'll ask Sal. And then we need to, you guys did approve Rovers to do Riverview Causeway and the one Surf at Beach. It's been approved, you approved it by email,
Right.
but we need a motion to affirm that decision.
Okay, do we have a motion to affirm both of them?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Good.
So then the Bay Causeway repair. I know, right? I texted Michelle again at the end of May and had not gotten a response, so I called her today and left her a message. And so I will just, they have just moved the barge to St. Leonard's Creek to begin the job we were telling you about. If you can give us a couple weeks, we will get a contract together for you and ask for deposit to get the rocks ordered. And I said I'd let the board know, and does that mean the end of June to start? And she responded, that can probably work as long as we get a prompt deposit, which we can do. I can handle it, to get the rock deliveries coming. And so, because the deposit would cover the cost for rocks. And then while we were sitting here, I got this from her, so I have no idea what it says. 2 questions. When we did a private job in Drum Point, we had to pay a road bond. Since this is for the DPPOA, this is a non-issue, correct? I assume so. Or no? No road bond. Okay. Second, we would like to use the entire parking area on the north side of the causeway. The parking area for the lake. I guess that's across from Marjorie Sanguinetti's house.
Yeah.
Okay. To stockpile material and equipment for a week, is that an issue?
As long as it's
Okay,
a week,
okay,
not,
2 weeks you can,
not,
a year.
not a non-prompt.
Okay. This has been on for a while. We would do some type of snow fence or barrier while in use to block it off. Also, this is an area where the stones are going to be placed on the lake anyway, the opposite
Right.
side there. Just making sure it's okay. If those are good, we will get you the contract in the next couple of weeks. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll respond to that tomorrow, but I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
My only concern is that some storm's gonna come up the coast and whoosh, the rest of the causeway.
Well, we're barring a hurricane, we're in
Okay,
calmer
So,
period.
yeah.
We're not likely to get a nor'easter at
Right.
this point.
okay. All right.
But
And-
we technically are in hurricane season after the 1st of June, so.
Oh, I think it was more toward fall. Is it really?
No, it's
Is that
really,
now?
it starts June, but it's
June.
really,
June through November, the end of November.
it's really more like August to November that are really the more prime times.
Okay.
But
Um,
I think Isabel was in September,
Was.
September, so.
It was, yeah. And that's it for roads.
We're thinking back to all the trouble we have people getting hold of people who do work. Well, like Birch never did ever call us
Yeah.
back, right? And then that one guy from up north had such a ridiculous price,
I
we
know.
didn't think about that. Well, it turns out, there is a new operator on the creek, or in the area.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, it's, I don't know his last name, but basically it's Gordon Spalding's stepson has bought Josh Gibbons'
Oh,
pier business. And he says that they're gonna do the pier, but Josh is still gonna do rock, so that might free up Josh to do, some of these, which
stormwater.
we're not likely to need pier work unless it was
Oh.
like the boat ramp. But,
Right,
but for rock, Josh may become another good
Another
alternative.
source.
We should-
to Calvinwood and that kind of
Well,
work?
yeah,
Stormwater management?
well, no, more for shoreline. work.
Oh, okay.
Something like this causeway thing,
Josh, is it Josh Spalding?
Gibbons.
Oh, Josh Gibbons.
Gibbons is the,
Oh, he's gonna keep that work?
he's
Oh,
gonna
I
keep the
see.
stonework, and
Okay,
the other guys are operating the, pier replacement type work.
okay.
So it's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah. Put it on.
Okay,
Contact me.
Jack, how's some money?
Budget's looking good, we probably will make it through the year without incidents. Only another 3 weeks to go. So, everything, we're within budget and everything. I did note, I don't know how it got away from me, that cost for the paving was about $50,000 over.
It is, and that's not at all unusual.
Yeah,
They did that last year, and
Yeah.
it's often.
inflation, yeah. We'll just have to show people more attention when we develop the FY24 budget. But anyway. Everything is looking good. No issues.
And if I can add, you can see the 186,000 now in the
Yeah.
capital expense account, and that's the money for the paving. So then, the amount it held at the county is now less than it was.
Okay.
I haven't gotten any reports, but I decided since she doesn't send reports real often, every time we get any money, I'll go ahead and adjust it. It may not even be exact, because it won't be, because they'll get more taxes in, but it'll give us some better idea.
So we can use the special tax district
Oh,
funding
yeah.
for that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I was so fondly looking at the amount there for, snow removal that we didn't use at all.
Oh,
That's-
right, yeah.
But, that one just happens to be how much
Right,
we got there to.
right, just about the same, yeah.
Okay. Bonnie and Jenny on any environmental reports?
Well, I'll just say, continue with Phragmites, at the end of the month, I will go around and take photographs and see how we're doing. We may not need to retreat this year. And I'm thinking that, maybe for the newsletter, there should be some sort of blurb on what not to do if you have it on your own property. Jenna gave me a call this week.
I gave her your number.
Oh, yeah, that's
She
fine.
called me.
Yeah, oh. And I put her in charge with Mark Smith for personal treatment. But her new neighbor dug up the plants, and that's the worst thing we can do.
No.
You're supposed to cut them off at ground level if you're gonna cut them. Now, if you cut them, then you can't spray them because they're not there to be sprayed. And really, if you really are serious about getting rid of them, you should spray them. And that spraying is done in the September, October timeframe. So I think people just don't know. They move in here, they think,
Could you do a little piece for the newsletter to
Yeah.
say
oh,
what to do and what not to do?
what, yeah.
Or is that what you just said? you were-
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'll pass it by
You're
Mark
good,
Smith
so-
to say I'm not
Okay.
saying something
That's good.
correct, but I know for sure you're not supposed to dig it up.
Yeah.
And she's just right next to it, and apparently just, her whole yard is full of it now.
The digging just spreads it.
Yeah,
Chops it up.
underneath it, there's a lot of dormant seeds are underneath it, and apparently they just all decide, oh, it's my turn. And Jenny will talk about the other option, the other things that we do.
Maybe solarization, you might wanna add that they could do that.
Oh,
That could
yeah.
be one of their choices to,
Yeah, they
you
can put
know.
those tarps down.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean,
That would be easy enough to do in your own.
Yeah, that would be easy enough to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then again, you would
Smaller,
cut it at ground level and then put the tarps down.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I have nothing for the Ivy League right now.
Okay. There was a tree, you were looking up here.
I couldn't figure out which one it was, Rhea, on Overlook, you said?
Oh,
At the last meeting, you mentioned one.
I did.
And I did drive by, but there's so many trees that are covered with ivy, I wasn't
I
sure
know.
which one.
This, I wonder if I could mark it. This one is just, I think it's just past the turnoff. You know, you turn that way to
Where
go
the
to
club?
Overlook. No, the other turn, the other direction.
When you're going up here on Beretta, then you turn.
It's on the right,
Right.
because Overlook goes both directions.
Right.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is-
it's on the right, yeah.
Okay,
There's a little island.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
so it's right past the island, I think? I'm not sure.
Well,
I'll
there's-
have to check.
Okay, cause yeah, cause there are some different ones up there that are covered in ivy, but there is one, I noticed when I was up there with Carl the other day, that there was one that seemed, he sort of pointed out, I'd have to go back and look at it, but
Mm.
there's one that's pretty obviously just choked.
The tree's kind of leaning too,
Yeah.
a little bit.
Is it on the right? If you're going from here, it's on the right.
From here?
Well, you turn right, but it seemed to me like maybe it's on the other side. I'd have to go look at it.
Maybe,
I think
maybe,
It's
Rhea,
right on
you,
the right, isn't it?
I thought it was on the older one.
maybe sometime this week, you and I can just take a quick drive
Yeah,
up
we can
there,
do that.
and you can show me where it is.
Okay.
Okay, that's good.
What's a good day?
Maybe make one little,
Any day except Thursday morning at 10. There's
Okay.
a meeting
We'll do it Friday.
here. Okay, that should work.
Is there a good time? Okay.
8 o'clock before. I mean,
Not
you
for
know,
me.
if I go out, it'll be around. I heard that. If I go out, I usually try to go out at 1:30.
Okay,
You know, same time.
okay, I'll stop by about noon, if that's okay.
Okay, yep.
Okay.
can I ask one more question, environmentally related? I was talking to my landscaper today, and there are some plants like on Bob Berry's property, that huge magnolia. It's, and it's looking like it's growing into the overhead line. Does the homeowner call SMECO to get that taken care of, or is that considered right of way, because I don't know how far our right of
Well,
way goes in?
I mean, I can call. but is it going into the electric lines or the lower lines?
Probably the lower lines.
And
Then
then,
that's not Smecco.
That's not
Smecco is the highest lines.
the highest
and
line. So what are those lines?
Comcast
Is that Verizon or
it's
something?
Verizon and Comcast.
And they are not proactive. They will not come out unless it falls on the ground.
Okay, all right,
Or at least that's how it has been. I
okay,
think Things change.
Yeah, you're right,
okay.
they won't.
It's good to know,
Mhm.
who to call.
Okay, Maggie's not here. The safety committee, we have a little bit of a, like emergency response back here in this corner room with some supplies and stuff, so if there was some catastrophe here, you know, we could provide some emergency materials, and she's tied in with a sort of a county network of radio people, so there's some communication capability and that kind of thing. That's basically what that is. And she's taken that over recently. The past guy that, Peter Holt, that ran that for quite a while, was really into the ham radio stuff and all that. He really had an operation going back here, but fortunately, we really haven't had to, you know, to use it. So she's taken it over, but probably scaling it back.
And this house, you might want to know, has a generator. This building does. There's a whole house generator.
So we could come here and, you know, and if the power was out and communicate.
Did it ever happen in anyone's tenure here where it became a command center or something
Yeah, a
like
little
that?
bit. Usually with snow, not for a few years, but with snow.
Okay.
There was a number of years ago now. I think our snow removal costs were like $140,000 or something, which is a lot for us. And because we're FEMA, because we're a special tax district, we qualified for FEMA assistance, and the county was able to declare, or the state did, a disaster area for like a 2 or 3 year period. So we got like 80% of our costs back that year.
But did we
Yeah,
use this as
we
a
did.
command center
We did.
for snow removal and
Yes,
stuff? Okay.
and that would have been Peter in here and Gary, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Um,
We haven't had to do
no.
anything, yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Welcoming committee?
I have distributed 3 buckets in the last week, which is sort of an uptick. We hadn't been given any out. So I think I've got 3 left back there, or 4. I did a letter for Ace Hardware, which Cindy, Jack's wife, who's kind of spearheads the welcoming committee. And so she hand carried that to Ace, and we have another 25 empty buckets to fill. So there's a few supplies back there, Jenny, but I need to get some brochures, and Cindy needs to talk to Carolyn about some information for a few things, but I'll let you know. So there's a couple back there.
Okay.
So Jenny and Asha and Susan, that's right, you're on that too now, I forgot. And they assemble, and then Jenna, a passport member, sport lawyer, they assemble these buckets, and, you know.
It's a nice touch. I mean, we've been on here 3 years, and it was just a nice touch.
It was really just an attempt to get your phone number and your email address.
Right.
And a good mail
Well,
address.
it was a nice touch and successful.
Got the bank account.
Oh, all of it.
That's it.
Okay. Planning committee is supposedly looks out, you know, longer term of things that we could do here and need to be done and whatnot. The one thing we're working on now is, we've got a project in works to put basically a rock spur out in front of our beach, community beach, to help prevent more erosion. And we have a group down in Virginia that's done this for all over this area, the base, up Swan Point, up on the Potomac, all kinds of places where they put in similar structures, and it's really helped to hold the sand and improve the beach or even build beaches. So they're basically our planners, our contractors for planning. We've set aside some money for it. We had money approved in this special tax district for it. Now all we're waiting on really are the completion of permits.
Oh,
It has been an unbelievable process.
It's funny, cause I know
When you're,
up at the school or something,
Well, when
your county commissioners were there and stuff like
yeah,
that.
right, and when you're dealing with, when you're building out into the bay,
Mm-hmm.
now you've got Maryland Department of Environment, Corps of Engineers, then you get the county involved, and there's just different people planning all that. You have to have all these ornate plans and everything. Right now, we're down to the last one, and that's working a few things through the county. And so hopefully, within a short period of time, that'll get done, and then we can start putting out requests for proposals, and hopefully move rock before the end of the year.
Okay, so that's, if a lot of things go right, it would be before the end of the year.
Yeah, hopefully. It's just unbelievable bureaucracy to get through something like that through. Okay. Reserve study, we're meeting with them Thursday,
Thursday at 10.
Thursday at 10.
Mike and Jack from
Okay.
Miller Dotson representative.
Okay, we'll do that. I have no other new business. Anybody else have anything? Okay. Next meeting, I think, would be, I think the 1st of July, right? Is that the first Tuesday?
The 4th of July is the first Tuesday, so.
Or the 4th is?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we don't want to do that. Why was I thinking the 1st? I don't know.
The first is Drum Point Day, that's why.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
that's-
Saturday,
oh,
it's
okay.
Saturday, yeah.
All right. Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, now that I think about it, good idea. When you know, volunteers are always
I guess
good
that's
for
new
Drum Point
business.
Day. It is new business, yes, thanks. Anybody that can help out.
This is a joint thing with the club,
Mm-hmm.
What's the
HO.
timeframe on that?
HOA and the club. We put this, basically, it's kind of like a picnic, kind of an affair
Let
down
me go
at
get
the
it. I don't know what they're on.
And that is, Drum Point Day,
Yes.
7/1.
Saturday, Saturday.
It used to be on the 4th, so they could watch fireworks and stuff in Solomon, but that turned out to be a nightmare. Security and all kinds of other problems, so they decided to move it an off day. Make it the nearest weekend day. kind of thing.
7/1.
It is from 2 until 7. So we'll need help setting up, you know, tables and so on. They don't do a lot of this decorating in particular, but then we'll need somebody to help do the grilling, hot dogs, burgers, veggie burgers. We always buy the food, for anybody that doesn't know, and I get most of that from Nick's. And they provide water and soda, and then you're welcome to bring adult beverages to share with your friends, what have you. And there's 2 bands, 2:30 to 4 is a band called Monkey Business, and then from 4 until 6, Linwood Taylor and the Still Standing Band. But the food will be served from 4:30 to 5:30, so we need people to help serve, you know, run the food and so on. And I always do the food as well, because that's what I do. So, I don't know, think about it, and if you can help out, let me know. Usually by now, Libby, not Libby,
Well,
Bruce Fall sends an email to me, because he organizes it for the club.
Okay.
And he sends me an email and asks, you know, who do I have and what, you know, what can you do? I think they set it up in just half-hour shifts, so,
I can help with something.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, I can help.
Sandy, okay, good,
It's a busy time for me, I'm probably not gonna be able to help.
good, okay.
and I won't be there, so I can't.
I'm pretty sure I can help with something. I need to, the
Okay.
date's catching my attention,
Okay,
and I don't have it on
No.
the infamous calendar.
Well, the club people also pitch in quite a
Yes.
bit, so
Yeah.
there's several of them. It's not just up to us.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd like to, just wanna check.
There's things like helping grill and stuff like that,
and then clean up,
and clean up.
you know.
Setting the tables.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's always nice at the end of the day, you know, if that's all you can do is come just for a half hour to help clean up, because everybody's kind of tired and,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of nice to have fresh people who haven't
Right,
been hanging around all day.
okay.
So the next board meeting will be?
The 11th.
The 11th, okay.
Same time, same place. Okay, anything else? Okay, let's adjourn to executive session. I think all we have to do is adjourn.
Yeah, we do.
Turn that
We just
off.
need a motion that you do that.
I need a motion to go to executive session.
I so move.
Second? All in favor?